been about 6 months since I have done any shows whatsoever for Factor Theory Live or Conspiracy Factor Theory. I gotta be honest, I've been totally disillusioned. I gave up hope. I can see the end game, or at least I believe I can, and it's some scary shit, but I'm trying to climb out of that depression. And in doing such, this show is going to be about UFOs, secret societies, and politics, because they are, whether you realize it or not, all tied together. This next clip is going to show you how far back it can go on this show Timeless. This is a clip from the show Timeless, and their Illuminati is called Rittenhouse. And it shows you how clearly and how easily and how long ago these kind of things could have been put into place. So just watch for yourself and let me know what you think later on in the comments.
Looks like you're doing a fine job. It's a beautiful clock.
My father says that peasants are like the hands of a clock. Round and around they go.
What does that mean?
Because a peasant is no more capable of choosing his own path than the hands of a clock.
Well, who chooses the path for them?
Clockmaker, of course.
And are the members of Rittenhouse the clockmakers?
No one else can do it. Father says monarchies are too selfish and democracies are too chaotic.
So the members of Rittenhouse are not part of, any government?
Not necessarily. Control is all that matters. Usually it's best exercised from the shadows.
What about the people that want a voice and how they're controlled?
Peasants can't govern themselves any more than ants can rule the jungle. Most peasants want nothing more than the illusion of a voice. Father says that's what democracy's for.
Oh.
What you're describing sounds like tyranny disguised as democracy.
Father believes there's no other choice.
What do you believe, John?
No one's ever asked me that before.
Now, personally, I believe that all politicians are nuts. They're all corrupt. They have to be. That's the only way they're allowed any kind of office. They are either rape hounds or drug addicts or alcoholics or pedophiles, and that's how they are controlled by the higher-ups, by the big families who own everything. Now, we don't know what they call themselves, but all these people, especially the Democrats, have been losing their minds over Donald Trump. Why? Because he's not a puppet politician. He is rich himself already, and during the campaign he was bringing up conspiracy type things and saying he would have Hillary thrown in jail. Well, here's a clip to show you the extent that the liberal Democrats would go to just to try to get Trump out of office or to stop him at every curve.
So the number is now up to 16 House seats stolen by the Democrats. They also stole the Arizona Senate seat, and they're trying to steal the Florida seat right now. And they say, oh, that's just rhetoric. Oh, you can't prove it, even though we get proven right every time. How about the undercover Project Veritas video where they catch Democrats admitting they deceive voters? They catch Democrats admitting that they'll allow you to vote illegally, or they even go and vote illegally. And they just had a new one. Here's the latest. Man goes undercover and votes illegally.
A strange man arrives in North Carolina at Mr. Romero's poll address and is offered his ballot to vote, despite the fact he said he had a Colombian passport.
William De Jesus Romero.
Is Romero your last name?
The name? William De Jesus Romero.
Okay. Put an X. Put an X in this box.
I get passport.
We don't need the passport, sir. All we need to do is to have you verify that you are who you say you are. We do not require an ID. We just require that you state your name and address.
I get passport.
No, we don't need it.
I go get.
We don't need it.
Passport colombiano en el coche.
Sign your name right there, and you may vote.
He can't even sign his name. He's got a broken wrist.
Okay, you can't sign.
I feel better with passport.
So he just wants to show his passport. He has
If
broken
you want
English.
to get the passport, you
He's
may
being
do
totally
that,
ridiculous,
but we do
and they're
not
still getting
need
him to
it. We
vote.
simply need for you to make an X in this box, just like this.
Voy a tener passport colombiano.
Now he's speaking
Zbigniew
Spanish.
Gorzkowski is also registered to vote in North Carolina. Here is a copy of his voter registration form. But we sent in another strange man who was also offered Mr. Gorzkowski's ballot to vote.
Zbigniew Gorzkowski? With a D? G. Gorzkowski. That's all right.
If you can sign it, it'll be okay.
Okay. I don't have my passport on me.
That's all right.
I don't need it. I can still vote. Sign. Okay. I would just feel more comfortable if I had passports.
Okay.
I'll go get my passport.
Yeah, just do
Just make
something.
an X?
Yeah, just do something.
That's all you need to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get my ID.
No, I don't need your, I can't take your ID.
Really?
No, come here.
You can help me?
Yeah,
You
here.
can just draw it for me?
Here, put your hand on mine.
Sign and then
Yeah, or, yeah,
I'll tell
sign
you what,
initial.
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm gonna
Okay.
get my ID,
Okay.
bring that in here, we'll do that.
Okay, that's
you.
fine, that's fine.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, I mean, we're going to keep fighting, but I mean, my God. We've caught the Democrats red-handed. I mean, they campaign illegally. They break campaign finance laws. They have illegals voting. They register illegal votes. They have dead people voting. I mean, again, do I have to spell this out for you? The Democrats stole the 116th Congress. They stole it. They did it right in front of your face. Do we even care? Are we just going to let them get away with it?
Here is just one more reminder about the whole Hillary thing that seemed to disappear, that should be still in everybody's mind and all over the news, and this woman should be in jail. Here's Trey Gowdy doing an amazing job at grilling the former FBI guy Comey, who, after saying listed all the things that Hillary did, said, yes, she did this, yes, she did that, but we are not prosecuting. We find no reasonable prosecutor would file charges, is what he said. So I believe that means he was threatened and or paid off, probably both. And he was right that all these people that were killed by the Clintons, just, check into the history for yourself. But here's a flashback for you.
Secretary Clinton said she never sent or received any classified information over her private email. Was that true?
Our investigation found that there was classified information sent.
So it was not true.
Right. That's what I said.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for a little shorter answer, so you and I are not here quite as long. Secretary Clinton said there was nothing marked classified on her emails, either sent or received. Was that true?
That's not true. There were a small number of portion markings on, I think, 3 of the documents.
Secretary Clinton said, I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material. Was that true?
There was classified material emailed.
Secretary Clinton said she used just one device. Was that true?
She used multiple devices during the 4 years of her term as Secretary of State.
Secretary Clinton said all work-related emails were returned to the State Department. Was that true?
No, we found work-related emails, thousands, that were not returned.
Secretary Clinton said neither she nor anyone else deleted work-related emails from her personal account. Was that true?
That's a harder one to answer. We found traces of work-related emails on devices or in Slack space, whether they were deleted or whether when a server was changed out, something happened to them. There's no doubt that there were work-related emails that were removed electronically from the the email system.
Secretary Clinton said her lawyers read every one of the emails and were overly inclusive. Did her lawyers read the email content individually?
No.
Well, in the interest of time, and because I have a plane to catch tomorrow afternoon, I'm not going to go through any more of the false statements, but I am going to ask you to put on your old hat. False exculpatory statements, they are used for what?
Well, either for a substantive prosecution or for evidence of intent in a criminal prosecution.
Exactly. Intent and consciousness of guilt, right? Is that right?
Right.
Consciousness of guilt and intent. In your old job, you would prove intent, as you just referenced, by showing the jury evidence of a complex scheme that was designed for the very purpose of concealing the public record. And you would be arguing, in addition to concealment, the destruction that you and I just talked about, or certainly the failure to preserve. You would argue all of that under the heading of intent. You would also be arguing the pervasiveness of the scheme, when it started, when it ended, and the number of emails, whether they were originally classified or up-classified. You would argue all of that under the heading of intent. You would also probably, under common scheme or plan, argue the burn bags of daily calendar entries or the missing daily calendar entries as a common scheme or plan to conceal. 2 days ago, Director, you said a reasonable person in her position should have known a private email was no place to send and receive classified information. You're right, an average person does know not to do that. This is no average person. This is a former First Lady, a former United States Senator, and a former Secretary of State that the President now contends is the most competent, qualified person to be president since Jefferson. He didn't say that in 2008, but he says it now. She affirmatively rejected efforts to give her a state.gov account. She kept these private emails for almost 2 years and only turned them over to Congress because we found out she had a private email account. So you have a rogue email system set up before she took the oath of office, thousands of what we now know to be classified emails, some of which were classified at the time. One of her more frequent email comrades was in fact hacked, and you don't know whether or not she was. And this scheme took place over a long period of time and resulted in the destruction of public records, and yet you say there is insufficient evidence of intent. You say she was extremely careless, but not intentionally so. You and I both know intent is really difficult to prove. Very rarely do defendants announce, on this date, I intend to break this criminal code section. Just to put everyone on notice, I am going to break the law on this date. It never happens that way. You have to do it with circumstantial evidence. Or if you're Congress and you realize how difficult it is to prove specific intent, you will formulate a statute that allows for gross negligence. My time is out, but this is really important. You mentioned there's no precedent for criminal prosecution. My fear is there still isn't. There's nothing to keep a future Secretary of State or President from this exact same email scheme or their staff. And my real fear is this. It's what the chairman touched upon. This double-track justice system that is rightly or wrongly perceived in this country. That if you are a private in the Army and you email yourself classified information, you will be kicked out. But if you are Hillary Clinton and you seek a promotion to Commander-in-Chief, you will not be. So what I hope you can do today is help the average person, the reasonable person you made reference to, the reasonable person understand why she appears to be treated differently than the rest of us would be. With that, I would yield back.
Okay, so now back to Donald for a second here. President Trump brought up the Space Force, brought up, hey, we're going to have a Space Force. And people were laughing their butts off. Well, as most of the people who will be listening to this know, there's already been one for decades. And this next clip proves it. People will laugh. People will say, oh, Space Force, Space Force. But come on. Facts are facts. We know there's something up there. Most people believe in extraterrestrial life, and most people out there by now have even seen things themselves. So check out this clip.
Echo 61 Tango, Roger, Roger.
Oh, got it! Woohoo!
Roger, there's troubleshooting.
Did you box moving target?
602.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly!
Hi, this is Garrett Wong, and I'm looking forward to working with Stephen Crawford and Emma Gold Productions on a new project, Factor Theory Live.
Now, to finish up, I'm going to make this a short show because I'm still having a hard time keeping my mind focused on any one thing, as you may be able to tell by listening to me talk. Here's a couple more clips. One was from CNN that I had never seen before, and the other is a clip of Nick Pope taken from Unsealed Alien Files. Have yourselves a great day, and my next show will be a conspiracy factor theory dealio, and I'm going to try to make that one more about UFOs and ghosts. Maybe time travel too. I'm really wrapped up in time travel right now. It's eating me alive. I think there's seriously something to it. Take care.
Commander David Fravor still can't explain what he says he saw that day. November 2004, the Navy fighter pilot was on a training mission west of San Diego when he was ordered to check out something in the water not far away. On a clear day, over a smooth ocean, he saw the object, waves breaking over it, and says he saw something hovering above it.
It's randomly moving north, south, east, west, just random, just stopping, going the other direction, like you could do with a helicopter, but a little bit more abrupt. It looks like a 40-foot-long tic-tac with no wings.
Fravor says he and his four-man team tracked the object for several minutes until it just disappeared. Tonight, CNN has learned the Pentagon had a secretive program to research UFOs like the one Fravor spotted. The project was called the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, run by an official named Luis Elizondo.
I think this is a national security imperative. We have clear things that we do not understand how they work, operating in areas that we can't control.
A defense official tells CNN the program cost at least $22 million over 5 years before it was shut down in 2012. According to the New York Times and Politico, which first reported this story, tens of millions of dollars for the project were pushed through by former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Those publications say a lot of the money for the Pentagon UFO program went to a company called Bigelow Aerospace, run by a longtime friend of Reid's, Robert Bigelow, a big believer in UFOs. Public records show Bigelow contributed about $20,000 to Reid and his Political Action Committee.
That campaign contributor got research contracts from this program. That just is a bad picture. It doesn't look good for anybody. It's hard to imagine that something that came about that way and profited somebody who pushed for the program was a good use of taxpayer money.
A Pentagon spokesman, in fact, told CNN the program was shuttered because there were, quote, other higher priority issues that merited funding.
It's definitely crazy to spend $22 million to research UFOs. Pilots are always going to see things that they can't identify, and we should probably look into them. But to identify them as UFOs, to target UFOs to research, that is not the priority we have as a national security matter right now.
But pilots like Fravor, who says he saw something, see merits in the program.
What if it is real? Because I think it's real because I saw it. And what if there's more of these? And what if we do nothing?
Now, just a short time ago, Senator Reid responded to CNN, saying he's, quote, proud of this program and its groundbreaking studies. Speak for themselves, he says. Reid says it's silly and counterproductive to politicize the serious questions raised by the work of the UFO program. The head of that aerospace firm, Robert Bigelow, did not respond to CNN's multiple requests for comment by our deadline. Wolf?
Brian, there's also information that former Senator Reid tried to keep information about this entire program out of public view.
That's right, Wolf. The New York Times says Reid acknowledged to them that he and two other senators, Ted Stevens and Daniel Inouye, both deceased, did not want public debate on the Senate floor over this program. Reid told the Times that the funding for the project was so-called black money, meaning that was secret money for classified programs. They just didn't want it talked about.
And why do many of these governments deny that they study UFOs?
If a senior officer says, don't talk about UFOs, that's an order. And all sorts of adverse consequences will befall anyone who disobeys that.
Join us as we reveal how governments officially investigate unidentified flying objects and uncover why they keep it a secret.